Hey, it's Sammy. It's lesson 3, coordinate geometry, the straight line. So we're just continuing with grade 10 math, and this is lesson 3. So we'll be covering some of the aspect of straight line, slopes, equations. And this lesson will continue for 2 more sessions. I'm going to try to make the lessons a little bit shorter than 20 minutes. So let's go to this lesson and try to figure out a few things. So they give us 4 different lines, and they want us to state the slope of the lines shown on the graph. So we'll go to the first one, which is the blue line. But as a matter of fact, I'm not going to go to the blue line. I'm going to go to the black line. And first of all, let's understand what a slope is. Slope always equals rise over run. So it's how fast the line is rising with respect to the run. So how do we figure out that? We just look at the graph, and how do we figure it out? To figure out what's the slope of the black line, for instance, I find 2 points on the line, clear points, like this one right here and this one. Now, I could draw a right angle triangle if you wish. Okay, that's a right angle triangle. Now, this is my rise right here, and this is my run. So this is the rise of the line, and this is the run. Of course, if you do it between other points, you'll still get the same rise and the same run as far as the numerical value is. So if you look at this, it's rising 3, and it's running 2. So rising 1, 2, 3, and then running 1, 2. So the slope of the black line will be 3 over 2. Now, how do we know if the slope is positive or negative? So look at these 2 points from here to here. If I'm gonna go from this point to this point, am I going up or am I going down? So from the point on the left to the point on the right, I'm going up. So if I'm going up, that means the slope is positive. Okay, now let's go to the red line. So the red line, I could take these 2 points or these 2 points, it doesn't matter, as long as I take 2 clear points on the graph. And then again, I draw a triangle at 90 degrees. So this here is the rise, and this is the run. Now, the slope would be the rise is 2 and the run is 1, except this is going down 2 up 1. So the slope here would say it's 2 over 1, which is 2. But if you look at these 2 points, to get from the point on the left to the point of the right, you're going down. As a matter of fact, from left to right, this line is going down. So if the line is going down, then the slope is negative. Now, when we write negative 2 over 1 and we leave it like this, we kind of missing something. Fractions mean dividing the numerator divided by the denominator. So 2 divided by 1 is 2. So the answer properly written as negative 2 rather than negative 2 over 1. Okay, now we'll go to the blue line. The blue line, the slope of the blue line. Now, if you look at the blue line, is what we call a horizontal line. When you have a horizontal line, then the slope is 0. You could memorize that. Also, if you're thinking of rise over run as far as the blue line, so rise over run, is this line rising at all? No, it's not. It's rising 0. Is it running? Yeah, so the run, it is running. So 0 over the run, 0 divided by anything, as we know the property of 0, 0 divided by anything always gives you 0, and that's why we got 0. Now let's go to the green line. What's the slope of the green line? So the slope of the green line is what we call a vertical line. And the vertical line, the slope of the vertical line, you could just remember that it's undefined. So horizontal, it's 0. Vertical, it's undefined. Now just look at the slope again. The slope is rise over run. Is this rising? Yes, it is rising. So I'm just going to go rise. Is this line running? Running is horizontal, going horizontally. No, it's not. And run is 0. Anything divided by 0, it's undefined. And that's how we know this is undefined. Okay, so let's go to the second question. And maybe we'll just call this question 1 for reference. Okay. So here's the second question, question number 2. On a grid, draw a line through point A, -3 and 2, with slope 2 and 5. So what we're going to do first here, we're going to draw the point -3 and 2. So -3 and 2, this is x, this is y, and every point is always xy. So every coordinate, the first number in it is x and the second number is y. So -3 and 2, so you just go to where -3 is here, and then you go up 2 on the y, and that's where your point is. So that's A, which is -3 and 2. Okay. Now, what they say in here, would slope 2 over 5. So the slope, and by the way, the slope, we use the letter M for slope. The slope is 2 over 5. Now we know 2 is the rise, and 5 is the run. So therefore, from this point now, that specific point that was given to you, you start rising. So you rise 1, 2, and you run to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you could do that again up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because the slope is consistent. So it's always up 2 over 5. Now, some of you might argue, say, why do you go up 2 and don't go up, go left 5 instead of right? Well, because the slope here is positive, my line should be rising, not going down. Okay. So if I go to the left 5, then if I draw my line, it will be going down instead of rising. If the line is going down, the slope is always negative. If the line is rising, like in this one, the slope is positive. So since the slope is positive, then must be rising. Or I could go down 2 and then go left 5, and that's fine. You could do that. Sorry, I just got that point in the wrong place. So go down to right, left 5, and that's fine. Now you could go left because you went down, and that will still keep that line rising when indicates the slope is positive. Okay, so now I'm just going to draw this line. So basically, this is my line that's given in A. The next thing they say, draw a line through -2 and -1, which is parallel to the line in A. Now, all of you remember from last class, previous to this one, we said parallel lines have equal slopes. So therefore, the line that goes through -2 and -1, and -2 and -1 is right here. So you go, the x is -2 and the y is -1. So you go down one right there, and this is your point. And this line here, the slope would be the same or equal to this slope, since this line and this line are parallel. So the slope here will be 2 over 5 as well. And from this point, you start going up 1, 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then again, 1, 2, run 5, or down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's where my points are. And at this stage here, you could draw your line, and your line would look like this. Parallel lines, they never meet because they have the same slope. So the rise over run is the same, so they will never meet unless they're right on top of one another. Okay. Now let's go to the second part of question B. Second part of question B, they want you to draw a line that's perpendicular to this line and is still going through the point -2 and -1. -2 and -1. Okay. Now, if you have a line that's perpendicular to this brown line and going through a -2 and 1, then it's gonna, when you draw it, it's gonna form a 90-degree angle with this line. But that's not what you're after. Just when you know that perpendicular lines, when they meet, they form a 90-degree angle. However, the blue line, which is perpendicular, perpendicular lines have the negative reciprocal slopes. So what that mean? That means the slope for the blue line would be the negative. So if this is positive, then the reciprocal, the perpendicular will be negative instead. If this was negative, then the reciprocal would be positive. And then reciprocal means if the graph is, if the slope is 2/5, the reciprocal will be 5/2. So the reciprocal of a fraction, you just flip the fraction. So it will be -5/2. Now you go to this point and you start going up 5. You could go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and left 2 because the slope is negative, so the line should be going down. Okay. Or you go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then to the right 2, and then indicates the slope is going to be negative because, as we said, the line will be go down if the slope is negative. Let's do one more point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. So there's another point. Now you could just draw your line. And this is the perpendicular line to the brown line. And if it's perpendicular to this, it's also perpendicular to this since these two are parallel. So that means they form a 90-degree angle in here. And that's basically exploring how the slopes work and what rise over run mean and all of that stuff. So I'm just going to leave it here today because, as I said, I'm going to do this chapter in little bits here and there. So I might even take not 3 sessions, maybe 4 sessions to cover all this chapter. You know, I upload at least 2 videos every week. If you find this videos helpful, please continue watching. Your support is important. So how you support is by clicking like, comment if you have time, but most importantly, subscribe to my channel. As always, thanks for watching. Till next time, bye-bye.